Okay, so had we decided to, okay, these are due today, who would say, I'm fine?
I have a couple questions.
Okay, so I suppose you could say we could open up the floor for that because some of those are probably a little tricky. I think, did we change number 14? Because something about that's not right, because I think you're reacting it with ethane, and that just does not work. Okay, so when we look at number 14, are we, is this what it says on your paper?
Yeah.
Okay,
And then there's an OH. I don't know if that is.
all right. So then, this is on, that's on there already?
That's on. That's on.
Oh, okay. That's on here. Okay. Well, that simplifies things. That cannot work. Okay. We got the right idea. Okay. And what that means is if we were to do this instead, this part was right. Okay. That was not quite right. Okay. So we actually need to change that to this here. And when we're looking at what we're reacting this with and where we're going to start on your chart, do we begin in the middle?
Change that to on here.
Yes. I want to make sure that we're communicating because something didn't look right.
Yeah, this is what it is.
Yes, we want to change it to that. Okay? Because, now, again, on your chart, are we starting in the middle?
Yeah.
We are?
There's no.
You're correct when you say no, but I'm more concerned with your correct answer saying no. Why do you know that, though? Yes, because we're not starting with benzene, we're starting with phenol. Okay? So now we know what we're dealing with. Now we know this reaction is going to proceed. Okay? And then I guess this could have stayed on here. And then if we were to split this up, okay, maybe that hopefully makes that a little more clearer because now we can use variables for this. Because from yesterday, we talked about this, we talked about this, we talked about that, I think. And of course, the list could just go on, and I don't know, I suppose maybe there's even a pentyl group on there. Okay? So it doesn't matter. We have that. We could say we've got this. Okay, I got to think about this. That could be one. Okay. We could also have this one. And that's our parent chain where it attaches. So what's the difference between those? Look pretty similar. That's important to know, yes. One's an isopropyl group and one's the isobutyl group. So here we have a butyl group as well. This one's isobutyl. We could even do something like this. We'll take this guy and move him up there. And it's no longer isobutyl, but rather what? Yeah, secondary butyl. Okay. But each and every one of these, there's a variable for that. Whether it's the two I just erased or all of these. What type of groups? When we cluster them all together, we know methyl, ethyl, propyl, butyl, pentyl, and we had isopropyl, isobutyl. Those all have a variable that is somewhere on your chart. Close. R. Okay? We will use X. You're not wrong. Okay? So all of these have a variable R then. Okay? And then what about that? Any halogen is, there's your X. All right? So then we know that this reaction will proceed. And here's our clue right here. Now we've got R and X. So why is this important here? Is all of that going to attach to that? Because it's going to attach, but the chlorine is not. Okay? Because remember, we have all these hydrogen atoms sticking out here. So we know that R is going to attach. But do we just put it on anywhere? Okay, so we can do this. But as we said, the chlorine doesn't attach to there. Is that our only product? So here's your clue. You could, yeah, we could do that. Why are you correct? No, I'm just saying, oh my goodness. That's what I'm laughing at. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. So, second row, could you say that again? Right, because this isn't the only product we're going to get. Yes, we could say that. That is true, but organic chemists, when we're looking at these, we're really not concerned about what's left over. More so, like what we would put. We've got our OH group, and then you said para position, and that is where?
The bottom.
Yeah, yep. Okay. I don't think that's how we answered your question. Oh, it was a different, it wasn't this one, was it?
No, I had that.
Okay, okay. For some reason, this looked familiar. Okay. Well, it disappeared. It just attaches to one of the hydrogens. It's an impurity, I suppose you could say.
How do you know when they just leaves?
Because remember, we're not concerned with balancing this reaction.
It's like CH3Cl, then the Cl just disappears.
Yes. And for our purposes, yes. Now, next year or 2 years from now, are you going to have to write or account for this Cl? Maybe. That I really can't answer. But a lot of these, we just want to get your mind thinking about all the different types of ways that these can and do react.
Can we do number 20?
Okay? Now, one of the things I'm going to walk around, and I want to look at your charts because I think we've only verbally said it, and I don't know if we've added this on. Okay. Okay. Quick as a cat. Yep. So yes, yes, no. Yes. This is obviously yours, right?
Yeah.
Do you have yours handy? Does it look like that?
Yeah.
Right there? Okay. And, okay. So here we need to make an addition. Okay. In your lower left-hand corner, okay, when this got copied, okay, it just didn't quite it got cut off by when it got sent to the printer. Okay. So what you should have then is, what's up top here? Is it an R group? I think. So remember, any R group, any one of these, just like this, is going to tell something, where can something attach? Well, just like what we did over there, we would have this, okay? And then, again, that's not the only spot. So where would we also put a letter? Right. Now, for some reason, okay, now it's making more sense. Because on your paper, it's still the same, because on your paper we have R here, so then you could put X there, then we have R there, and then it would go there. Okay, because both of them are ortho and parapositions. Sorry? Isn't that what yours?
19?
No, I'm talking about your flow chart. That's why I wanted to walk around and look at those. Yeah, this is nothing like 19. Okay. Was it 19 or I thought I heard 20?
20.
Okay. So by now, when we compare last year's chemistry in organic or general, periodic table, your calculations, now it's just all concepts. And would you say memorizing? Is that what you're doing? Hopefully it's more so understanding rather than memorizing. Maybe that is the case, maybe it isn't. But which do you like better, last year's chemistry or this year's?
This year's.
Okay? I think that's everybody because no one else is weighing in. It must be this year's. Yeah. See, when you're having a discussion, if you want someone, you nod your head when you're talking to them, then they probably agree with you. This year's better, isn't it? Okay. So you said, what was it, 20? So I believe that's a word problem. So does it say something like starting with benzene?
Illustrate a mechanism for making ethylchlorobenzene.
Okay. So we know that this is what we want to make. Okay. So, good gosh. Okay. So we know that this is way down the road. Would we all agree that that is ethylchlorobenzene? Because we could say, well, this would be ethylbenzene. Now we just have this on here. So what are our variables that we have? Just like the last example, how do we write this in variable form?
You have to have C.
Well, you're thinking of the molecular formula. Or excuse me, structural formula. Because doesn't C2H5 have a variable for it? It's pirate talk. R. See, I haven't done that yet. We got our R here. And then what's your Cl group? Yeah. So we got to get R and X on there somehow. Okay. So again, we know where we're going. And illustrate a mechanism for making ethylchlorobenzene. Okay. So we can't just attach this on here. Okay. Because we have to go through an entire process. So we would have to presume, and we're going to start with benzene. Okay? And this is going to seem kind of redundant, but it's just the chemical properties of how things attach to this ring. So the first thing we need to do is, per se, get the ethyl group on there. Okay? Now, you might be thinking, didn't we just do this? Well, yes, that's true, but there was already something on the ring already. That's not the case here. So we need to get R and X on there. Okay? So if that's the case, the simplest way to do that would be C2, H5Cl, just like what we did. There's our R and our X. Okay? And then, as you are stating, we want some, I don't know, we'll just do iron chloride, nickel chloride, copper chloride, some sort of metal catalyst. So what happens here now?
What's the R on the benzene?
Okay. So since we put it up over there, we're going to do the same thing here. Here's our R. So there's R.
Now you need to add chloride.
So now, as you had said, and this is new material here. This, from this point on, this is all brand new here.
So you add chlorine,
Okay? So you are correct. We're adding chlorine to this.
and then you draw an arrow with heat.
I didn't know if anyone would pick up on that.
It's on here.
Yeah, it's on there, but sometimes when you're looking at that, okay, because if you really understand this, what happens if you do that?
Well, then it does. Then you
You're going to get two products, but we don't want to because we had it up here and we erased it. So we got to change our catalyst then. You don't want to use a metal catalyst, like you correctly said. We want what? Okay? Is that true in here? I looked at the thermostat this morning. You're thinking, is it cold in here or not?
he just put it there because
Yeah.
his product had that on his number.
Okay?
And then it puts here X.
Okay? So now we've got our variable X. Now, this is where we really got to be careful here because I think I already had, no, I did it correctly earlier. Okay? How many are going to use a molecular formula on attaching this? Is that what you would do? You can.
Yeah, it's H4. You have hydrogen.
See, not everyone picks up on that. Okay? So what we're talking about here is if we just say we're going to attach one of them chlorines on there, and if you say C2H5Cl, well, there's our C2, and then you would have to say something like that, and that's not possible, okay? Because that carbon's got too many bonds on it. So what that means then is that's not there. Now you would attach this chlorine on here. And you're taking a hydrogen away, or you write that, because those are the same thing, C2H4Cl, or you're saying the same thing here. You've got to take a hydrogen off of there. Otherwise, one carbon has too many bonds on it. Right. Okay. So hopefully that fit on the screen. Yep, that fit on the screen, and it's above the glare. So. Is there anything else you'd like to add before I shut the recording off? Okay. That's all I have. So next week, why don't we do this? Okay. So 22nd, 23rd. Just because next week could be busy, let's put this as 10/24, so it'd be worksheet 5. And then, according to the input, it's only Tuesday where we have an absence. Okay? So we'll do worksheet 5 on Monday. We'll have that due on Thursday. So, also do you have your vocabulary for this chapter? No, you do not. Okay, so I got to get that out to you. And then I think we'll just leave that activity where it's planned. Thursday, yes. And then Friday, we'll see if we can get that scheduled with Mrs. Lee's class. Okay, so that's all I have. We'll catch up to you next time.